Okay, I think we can start now. So go
Hello.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this demo. I'm going to demonstrate to you mUzima framework to show you how it works, what you can do, and then I'm going to show you some of an example using KenyaEMR forms on how to register patients and how to fill in encounter data, then see how it gets processed through the mUzima framework. So before I take you to the application itself, just want to put mUzima into context. So currently, mUzima works with OpenMRS, and KenyaEMR is just one implementation of OpenMRS. So KenyaEMR, in this case, would act as the server side, while the mobile application, mUzima, would be running on the client side. Between the two sides, the server side and the client side, there is interaction. In each case, there's exchange of data from the client side to the server and back. And what gets downloaded to the device, in this case, forms, concepts, historical encounter data or observations, cohorts, providers, locations, and notifications. When you fill registration forms and encounter forms for patients, you would send the data back to the server. And then from one time to time, there would be searching of patients against the server. There would be authenticating activities done on the device against the server, and so on. Now, I'll take you through the setup process of initial installation of mUzima on the device, and then I will take you through the features offered with that device. So the initial setup process is usually done once by some technical person, and from there on, then the device would be ready for use by providers who could be clinicians, could be community health workers, and so on. The first page usually is the license information that is displayed, and you must agree to it for you to proceed. When you proceed, you'll go to the login page, you specify the server URL, username, and password. And once you log in, the first page usually displayed is where to download cohorts. Cohorts in this case is just a list of patients, and the cohorts exist on the server side. Usually they are organized based on a particular program's requirement. So you'll select which cohort you'd want. You could take one or more, and you move next. The next page displayed is usually the form templates page. So here, if, for example, you are running the KenyaEMR implementation, then you choose specific form templates that are relevant to the KenyaEMR program. Once you choose those and you move next, you'll have a chance to download locations. Locations inputs made on encounter forms to show in which location or which health facility or community unit a particular form is being filled. So here you'd download which location you'd want this device to be used. The next page is providers. You'll also download the list of people who would be using this particular device. So it could be one person or could be more. Next, you'll download concepts. Concepts that selected here will determine what historical patient data gets downloaded to the device. So, for example, when you download a cohort or a particular patient record to the device, then historical information gets downloaded alongside it. So here you'd choose which particular types of data you'd want downloaded. We also incorporate a barcode scanner. So this is to automate the process of inputting patient IDs. And that feature currently is being used within registration forms. And also whenever you want to search a patient against the server and so on, you'd scan the patient ID and then move on to search that patient. Once you do that, the process of initial installation is done and you're taken to the dashboard. So every time a provider logs in, they would be taken to a page like what you can see right now. So I'm going to take you to a device I've already set up so that you can see the various features in action. So before the provider gets in, they'll have to give the username and password. Now I'll take you through the 4 tabs you can see and also how to customize the device further. Then I will show you how to fill in an encounter form and a registration form. So let me just quickly take you through the settings. Now we have made it possible to customize this application based on the requirements of the users. For example, you can see timeout settings. What you have done is we provide a way that you can specify how much time it takes when a device is idle before you can be automatically logged out. So the timeout here is basically to say if the device is not in use for 5 minutes, then next time you want to use it, you must log in. So it's just a security feature we are incorporating in the application. Automatic form save interval is the time we have set in which when you're filling forms, they would be automatically saved to avoid any loss in case of anything going wrong. So in this case, the default time for automatic save is 2 minutes. Within mUzima, we have we can either allow you to fill data and then sync it to the device sometimes later whenever you're ready and whenever you have internet connectivity. Or you can choose this setting to enable the device to automatically upload data to the server side immediately you are done filling a form. So there are more settings. Those include being able to add more, download more data. For example, you can add providers, you can add locations, and you can download concepts besides what you the setup you did during the initial installation process. Now, these 4 tabs are the first one, which is the top right. The cohorts tab displays the complete list of cohorts that are available at the server side and those that are synced to the device. So currently I have none that I synced. When I selected cohort from the initial wizard, in this case, there was no member, so there was no cohort member was downloaded to the device. At the top right corner, next to the 3 dots, the settings, there is a button for syncing the list of cohorts. So if you tap on that button, the device would refresh that list, will query the server to find whenever if there's any change on the list of cohorts and download that change. Next, we look at the Forms tab. At the Forms tab, we have 4 sections. All form templates shows the forms that exist on the server. Next tab will show which forms were downloaded to the device. And then the next 2 tabs will be used to view form data that was filled. So the first one shows incomplete form data. Now, what this means is that whenever you are filling forms, you could want to save it as complete, meaning you're done, you won't go back to filling the form again, so that the form data is ready for uploading to the server side. Or you can save it as incomplete, meaning you'll go back to the form and continue entering data before you can save it as a final draft. So within the form complete form data tab is where you'll be able to upload data. I think we'll have a look at this once we fill in an encounter form. Next tab is the notifications tab. We use this to display notifications from the server side and also those generated on the device. And these notifications could be reminders. The notifications framework is, we are still doing further development on it, and it is open for more customizations to be used for any purpose that's relevant to the program using mUzima. So the last tab I'll take you to is the Clients tab. This will show the list of patients who are on the device, and you can select one to view historical data, to view notifications, or to fill in encounter forms. So for example, if I choose the first one, I'll be taken to a page where I can view observations. If I go into observations, you can see we have made it possible to scroll through the list of observations for this particular patient. You could view this in a different layout. The data being organized by encounters. Then you can also view the same data organized as encounters. So this one will only display data for one particular encounter. The notifications is the same one as the notifications tab I explained earlier. So in this case, we'd be looking at notifications for a specific patient. And then finally, the Forms tab would only show you the forms relevant for this particular patient. So all these are encounter forms. Now, before we see how to fill in an encounter form, I'm going to show you how to fill a registration form. A registration form would be used whenever you want to register a new patient, and it has to be filled before you can fill other forms for that patient, because immediately after you register a patient, then the corresponding records are created, and from that point you are now allowed to fill encounter forms. Now, before you fill, when you click on the patient registration icon, which is the one I've just highlighted at the top right corner, it will first of all confirm to make sure that this patient is not already registered. This is basically to avoid duplications. So you asked whether the patient has some existing ID. This could be an OpenMRS ID that was already entered probably in this location or in any other location. So if they already have an existing ID and you say yes, you'd enter that ID to search the patient record. And if the patient record is not on the device, then you'd search against the server and download that patient record. So if you click on the server, you have a chance to search against the server. Well, in this case, because what I typed in is not available at the server side, then the device would allow you to create that client. But if you had said the patient does not have an existing ID, then you'll be taken directly to the registration form. This registration form is what we adapted from the KenyaEMR registration form. So it has exactly the same fields. Those that are mandatory remain mandatory on this device. The registration form would basically enable you to fill in patient names, birth date, sex, and other attributes. So you must enter a correct OpenMRS ID, and this would be validated to ensure that you are inputting correct ID. Some of the fields are optional, so what does not have the red asterisk is not mandatory. So you'd input all the information that is relevant for this patient. Then after which you must input the encounter location. Remember the locations we downloaded earlier, and also specify the provider name. So once you're done, we can either save as draft, which will go to incomplete form data, or save as complete. So in this case, I just want to save as complete. And once I do that, you can see the last record on this list, which is the newly created record for the patient. So from here, I can now go ahead and fill in and count forms. Now, here we have 3 forms, which again were adapted from KenyaEMR. There's the family history form, which will be used to capture information about family members for a particular patient, HIV enrollment form, and the MOH 257 visit summary form. So first, I'll take you to family history form. So this one shows you one of the features we have within forms, repeating sections. Usually mUzima, the way we program mUzima forms, we make it as flexible as possible to capture data depending on the requirement of the program. The questions that will be displayed based on given logic. For example, if you want particular fields to be hidden, if you want particular fields to be filled in if a patient is male or female, or if a patient is within a given age bracket, then it's possible to program that logic within the forms. So once you fill in, and that could be for as many entries as possible. So once you fill in, then you must provide the location and the provider. The other forms, HIV enrollment, still have this, take the same approach. It has mandatory fields. It has fields that are hidden based on specified logic, and it would be displayed given it certain criteria is met. For example, if we say a patient was transferred in, then the questions that would be displayed, and you must provide information for it. So for example, the transfer in date, from what facility the patient was transferred, and so on and so forth. And once you provide all this information, then you'll save as complete. However, the app will not allow you to save as complete if you've not provided all mandatory information. For example, save right now, it will tell me there's some validation check that failed, and therefore I have to provide all the necessary information. However, I can save the form as draft, then go back to it later on. The MOH visit summary form is the so we have so that's the if you check one option there, have it logic explained earlier. based on, then also repeating sections, the ones that have this blue button with a plus and minus. So if you click on the plus button, then that section would be created, would be duplicated. So once you provide all the necessary information again, you can save, but in this case, I'm just saving it as draft. So here I have incomplete form data, 2 forms, HIV enrollment and MOH 257 visit summary. And I have 2 complete form data that's ready to be uploaded to the server side, the family history form and the registration form. So basically, that's it, how the app works. It allows you to fill forms. It allows you to view patient data. And this patient data could be one that was filled on the device, and it could also be data that's downloaded from the server side, historical data that was belongs to other encounters filled for particular patients early. So I'm going to show you how the data gets uploaded to the server side. Then I'll take you to the server side to see how the data gets processed and how we resolve errors in case of any. So you see the button next to the 3 dots, that's the upload button. Then I've just highlighted. So if you click on that button, then the complete data gets uploaded to the server. So let me switch to the server side. So to view the administration page from mUzima, you must go to the legacy UI that's available through the developer tab of KenyaEMR. And you'll find there are a number of modules. There's mUzima Forms module, where we define the form templates you are downloading. And then there's mUzima module that gives you the queue data and the error data. When you upload data, it will be placed on the queue. So before it gets processed, you'll have a chance to view the data here, but not edit. You can only view. Now, we have set up a scheduler task that runs every 30 seconds. In case of any data is on the queue, it will get processed. It is we made it 30 seconds for this particular instance, but you can set whichever time you want for the scheduler task to be running. Going to the error queue, you'll be able to view any data that came in and was not successfully processed, and it requires some resolution by a data manager or any person who is within the program who has that responsibility to resolve the errors. And whenever there's an error, it means there's some validation that was not met. So since usually it's common to find issues within data, and therefore instead of just posting the data to the database, we provided this interface through which preferably a data manager would come and see what went wrong and perform corrections as necessary. So for example, this is the first item is the data that I sent in. So it will give you what errors were generated and give you a section at the bottom to make corrections. So if you click on this icon, then the edit text field would be displayed, and you can rectify the data. And once you do that, you validate and save and queue it, and it will get processed. So basically that's it for mUzima, how mUzima works. So at this point, I would welcome any questions.
Simon, I'm going to stop the recording.
Okay.